yeah, I remember like I got home, I just started crying straight away. It was like, that is it, sort of thing. But I think the hardest bit was trying to tell other people then, like my friends, close friends and family. It was like, yeah, I can't play again. And they was like, what? Like, you what?
Such a shock.
Yeah, sort of thing. Like going home, tell Jess, tell my parents, like, and obviously like my friends and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty. It was a bit of a shock.
Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is on. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk is on.
Nipper, how you doing, brother?
I'm all good, thank you, Ollie. How are you?
Good, mate. Good, mate. First and foremost, thank you for coming on. Obviously, got a lot of praise after the Gar Nicholas podcast.
God, he done well, didn't he? Fair play to him.
The man can waffle.
I did think he spoke so highly of me. I was like, bloody hell, it took me back a little bit as well, to be fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think from everyone else, I think everyone thought he always had a soft spot for you, mate. But because you could flip a game as quick as you wanted it, to be fair. But mate, before I get into it all with you, I just actually probably something I actually never told you. Well, it's no point to tell you, but I'll tell you now, because so when I was in Australia, I just went over there and I signed with the team called Ipswich Jets in Brisbane. They're a feeder team, the Brisbane Broncos, and at that stage I was only 19, so I was eligible to play for the under-20s, but unfortunately I got injured. I'd have surgery. And before it though, I was living with the head coach at the Ipswich Jets. He played for Leeds Rhinos, Brisbane Broncos, absolute legend. And I said to him, I go, mate, there's a guy in Bridgend that if he plays league, he'd be one of the best playing the league. And he goes, have you got any footage of him? And you just at this stage come on the scene with the Ospreys and you were like killing it. And he goes, mate, how can I get him over here? And I was thinking to myself, he's probably on decent coin at the Ospreys. He's probably going to tell me to get fucked. But mate, honestly, I think if you went down the league route, I don't know if you ever had an offer.
I did try it.
Did you?
Celtic Crusaders.
Did you? Okay.
They had like a trial game before. I think I was in the scrum at one point. A hooker. Is that the scrum art?
Yeah,
no,
hooker.
Yeah?
9 is like a hooker,
so I went there and I sort of had to pick them between Ospreys Academy or the Crusaders, and I sort of just went down the Union route then. But I did play it once. It was on the Brewery Field.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think if you played at like a half-back or 5'8", even full-back, you would have just...
Yeah.
Just the style
less
of the game.
men as well on the pitch as well, so you know.
What's that?
It's less people like on the pitch, so I know.
Always hindsighting it, but I always thought if he went to the league route, you would have absolutely killed it. But
good, I like watching it as well.
Yeah. I'll be honest, man. I struggle to watch the rugby at the moment. I go for phases of rugby. I watch league, watch the NRL, but I struggle to watch even rugby union games sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
You're quite invested in it?
Yeah, I do. I do love watching it, I'm not going to lie. I think I've just loved rugby watching it all the way through, so sort of still love watching it now and try and support the boys as much as I can.
Nice, mate, nice. Well, mate, I'm going to hit you with some hard questions today. But one of the hardest I'm ever going to tell you is actually a statement. I reckon my year was better than your year in Bridgend.
That's Mr. Sage telling you all that.
Yeah, mate.
No, to be fair, it was good because obviously like we had a good year. I think the year above us was good as well.
Yeah.
And obviously your year below us, like they were all class rugby years, like, so, which was awesome for Bryntig, and like a few of your boys went on to do well as well. So yeah, it was good.
It was good, man. But to be fair, I used to, we never actually tell each other, but I used to watch your year and just be in awe of you, man, because you were small, obviously, as well, like myself, and just the way you would play. I remember this one game, it was a penalty. And you won't even remember, but how the heck I remember this? You played for Bryntig, and it was a penalty. You went to take the 3, and you just like kicked it quickly, picked the ball up, and scored.
Did I tell you what happened before that though?
No, go on, bring it back.
Because it was like the quarterfinals, I think, of the Welsh Cup.
Upper school.
Yeah, and I got charged down in my own 5-metre line, and they scored. Right, so it was like 5 minutes left or whatever. So luckily then I had redeemed myself. So that was the story behind that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it mad though how you can remember? I
literally remember like all the boys were looking at me were like, shit, has he just done that? I was like, sorry boys. And then 5 minutes later it was like that happened, and then we obviously qualified and went through to semi-final then. So
wow, man, some good times, and how many of the players have come through Brentford?
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's the best decision I ever done to go to Brentford, because I was originally an Archbishop.
Were you?
For 2 months, yeah.
Wow.
But then all the boys were in Brentford, so I sort of like felt like I was missing out. It was the first time, Archbishop won 2 rugby games when I was there. And then I sort of left and went to Brentford, and then I haven't looked back since. So.
Wow. Well, man, you've had an unbelievable career. Like, even just looking at it now, I had to do a little bit of, obviously what I remembered, and then on top of that, then like what the web says. But, mate, like you come through Brentford, went to Bridgend College, and then played at Swansea, Bridgend, Ospreys, Bristol, Cardiff Blues, and then obviously in between that, representatives, Wales under 18s, under 20s, and then 5 caps for first team.
Yep, correct, yeah.
Man, that alone is an exceptional achievement.
I know. It's, to be fair, I sort of forget about half the stuff like you do. You sort of just get so caught up with the moment and then what's going to happen next. So, yeah, to look back now, obviously after I stopped playing, to look back after now, it's like, it's quite emotional, and it's just like, oh, yeah, I did do pretty, like, all right for myself sort of thing. So, but like when you're in the time, it's such like a roller coaster, so you're like, what's next sort of thing.
It's always what's next. It's quite interesting to say that. I say to a couple of players now, you know, like 7-year-old or 8-year-old you, all he ever wanted to do was be a professional rugby player, play for Wales.
Everyone wants to put on a Welsh shirt, don't they? So
and then you get there, and then you think, what's next? How do I get to the next? How do I get one more cap? And it's but that 7-year-old or 8-year-old with his little half kit on, all
it's
he
mad,
wanted to do.
I know. It's mad. I can still remember playing like when I started the half and the 7s or 8s, going to all these tournaments and stuff. And then all of a sudden then I'm 31 and that's it, like, sort of thing. So goes. With a blink of an eye. Do
you think, like, was it always for you wanted to play rugby, go all the way from a young age, or was it other things first and foremost?
It's probably the only good thing I was good at, to be honest with you all. I sort of like, I think I loved rugby because all my friends were in there. So like, it was like me, Apsy, Falcon, Lee Murphy started under 7s. And then the other boys joined along. So we sort of grew up together, played from there to youth into seniors with the school and stuff as well. But like along the way, we had a good laugh, and we obviously come really good friends along the way. So I think it was sort of when we got to like 15, 16, it gets a bit more serious then. So we sort of like, a few of us went to college and stuff, and then just went from there really.
It's quite interesting though, because I know as well. I might be wrong, but you got scouted obviously for the Ospreys. Did they at one stage let you go and then bring you back? Yeah,
so it was quite interesting. I under 15s district, I was obviously playing, and then you obviously get picked. So I was the only one not to get picked for the Ospreys 16s. So I didn't actually play Ospreys 16s. But then the year later, I got picked up early then to play Ospreys 18s by a different coach. So I played Ospreys 18s early.
But you didn't play 16s?
Yeah, so I never played Ospreys 16s or Wales under 16s, but I got picked then for Ospreys 18s and Wales under 18s like a year early. So, yeah, it was just sort of... I actually remember when I didn't get picked for the Ospreys 16s. I was young, like, and actually, you could see all the boys getting picked. I was, like, so gutted. I was crying and everything. Yeah. But then I sort of probably went away and worked a bit harder and stuff, got a bit fitter and tried to get stronger. And then ended up getting picked then for the under 18s.
But being too young to play 18s, but
actually, so it was quite interesting, to be fair. And then since then, it just went from there, really.
Yeah, I even think now, like, from you probably never knew, but everyone else would know it. He's like, this guy's gonna make it. Like, that's what we always used to think. Youngsters. Do you ever feel like you had that pressure on yourself to make it, or because you were the match winner? Yeah, you were the guy. If anyone's gonna pull someone out his ass, it's him. It was so.
How can I could describe myself like Marmite, genuine. You either like love me or you like hate me playing rugby, like, oh, he's too small or whatever. But then other coaches be like, oh no, like, let's get him involved or whatever. But I probably didn't really think. Like, I just loved playing rugby. That's all I wanted to do was just play rugby for whoever. But then, like, touch wood, luckily, a few chances, and then I sort of went all the way. But I didn't really think I was going to play for Wales. Like, I probably I was the hardest critic on myself, apart from my own man.
Yeah.
But like, you sort of obviously want to play for Wales, but I didn't know if I was going to do it or not. So, but then, yeah, luckily, like I said, it sort of worked out in the end.
Well, even down to the little things, like I was going to say about your parents, Elaine and Phil.
Yeah.
They're like, I remember just as a youngster how passionate they were about you and obviously your brother. But like, do you think that was a massive driving force as a youngster, having parents like that?
Oh, huge, massively, because obviously, like, my brother would be playing somewhere else on a Sunday, and then so my mum and dad would split up, but taking in turns to take us. Like, he'd be away if I'm away, then they'd swap then the weekend after. But yeah, without them and sort of thing, I probably wouldn't have obviously done as good as I would have, sort of thing, because take me to training and stuff. You just probably, you don't really appreciate it when you're younger because you don't really understand as much. So it's looking back now, then you think, oh, yeah, fair play, they've done a lot, to be fair. Your
dad was a fit bug of mine, if I remember.
Yeah, he still thinks he's fit, to be fair.
He still do a job.
He's getting old now, but yeah, it's quite funny, actually. We had a press-up competition before my wedding. He actually beat me as well. I was gutted.
Really?
Yeah, I was gutted.
Oh, he still gets it about it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, so, yeah.
Fair play to him.
I'll give him that one.
You only got married like 2 weeks ago.
I know, last summer. So, yeah, it was a bit gutted, like.
So you're still fit then?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. But, yeah, man, like, obviously you got people like your parents. You know, growing up, the school, Bridgend, was very influential. Like, there were some good coaches there. You had Harris, was Mr. Harris?
Mr. Harris, Alan Harris, yeah.
He was
awesome.
Yeah, he loved you, didn't
he? Yeah, he was so good. Again, like, I think he reminded me of Garnick so much, just sort of the way he was. He'd get the best out of the players. Like, we had such a tight group of boys, but, like, he was the ringleader of it all. Yeah. So he'd sort of know how to get the best out of each individual. And then it was the same with Yoyo. Like, Yoyo was really successful as well. So, like, we sort of not had to win, but he just guided us to win. Do you know what I mean? And it was like playing in, when you're like 16, it was like a chance playing in the Millennium Stadium, stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, he was class.
It's funny, right, off the subject a bit, when we were at Bridgend, I remember I'd get in trouble and I'd get sent to the headmaster's. Yeah. And then the headmaster at the time, literally, I'd be like, tail in between my legs. Yeah. So, fuck, what have I done now? As soon as I get there, he'd go, "Hiya, Ollie. How's rugby, mate?" I'm like, "Yeah, good." He goes, "All right, Sam, on your way."
On your way, yeah.
That was it. It's funny how the school...
I think Bridgend had, like, the repetition for rugby is massive, isn't it? Yeah. So it's sort of... Not they had to do well, but they just had, like... I remember, I think, like, Rhys Webb's year, sort of... Yeah. As far as I can remember, they were always, like, the best, and they sort of just come down then, didn't it? So it was sort of... You have to live up to winning trophies and stuff like that. So it was good. Put it this way, like, it was good being a rugby player in Bridgend because, especially for me, I win the brightest in the classroom. So
same here, man.
Yeah, you just gotta wing it.
I just used to like the trips away, Roslyn Park or the sevens.
Yeah.
How did you boys get in the seven, Roslyn Park?
Year 8, we lost in the final, and then year 11, we managed to win it then. So yeah, it was pretty special.
Yeah, man, that's some good times. They just got some big nostalgia now thinking about it. So moving on, man, obviously then you finally broke into the first team, like got into the first team squad with the Ospreys. Yeah. Who was the coach at the time?
Scott Johnson, Sean Hawley and Jonathan Humphreys.
Was this to the stage when it was like the Galactic?
Oh my God, they had like, I remember, I think it was me, Eli Walker, Dan Baker, like all the same age. And we got called up into the first team and I remember just looking around thinking, am I in the right place? Yeah. Because you had like Mike Phillips, James Hook, Dan Bigger, Shane Williams, Tommy Bowe, all like Henson, Bernie, you had all these players. Yeah. I was just like, fuck, I'm lost here. Because you like watch them on the weekend and then all of a sudden then, like on a Monday, you're training against them basically.
Wow.
So
was it a stage that when you were at training, you know, were you with these type of players? Was it more they enhanced your skill set? Were they like more like wanting you to play your natural game, or was it stick to a process?
Oh, they were awesome, like, to be fair. They were so good. Like, really welcoming. Obviously, I was like 18, so sort of you go into the change rooms and these meetings and you're like looking around and it's like, shit, what is going on here? But then on the pitch, you sort of just do what you do sort of thing, just play rugby basically. So, that was special.
I bet, man. What a team. I don't think the Ospreys will ever replicate that squad.
No, like, I think if you probably look back, they probably underachieved massively, like, with the team they had. It was full of internationals, and then obviously had like Tommy Bowe from Ireland and stuff, Nicky Walker then.
Who was the number 8 then? Was it
Jerry Collins was
Jerry
there,
Collins,
yeah.
It was
Marty Holler, Tia.
Tia, that's the guy's thing.
Like,
yeah.
all these players, and you think, how didn't they win?
Justin Marshall, was he then?
Yeah, I think he was just before me,
Okay.
but you just think how they didn't win more. But
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty surreal.
So in that environment then, I know Bernie was a massive trainer, very competitive. Was it anyone who like really strung out to you, like, wow, that guy's fit? I know you probably up the front with the bleep tests and everything, but
most of the scrum halves are always fit. I think like Shane Williams, he would obviously be like the speed test, and he just absolutely blow everyone off the park. Justin Tipperick, he was sort of just breaking through as well, but he would always be he'd be up there, like he'd be one of the fittest as well. So
wow.
Yeah,
mate, that team just.
It's mad. I know. You just name them players, and like, that's without like the front row with
Adam Jones,
Hibbard, Duncan,
British
Paul
Lions
James,
and Welsh players.
I know. It's just incredible.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking of that team now. Alan Wynne Jones was obviously second row.
Yeah, Ian Evans, Ian Goff, Ryan Jones.
Shit,
I know, it's mental.
Like literally,
absolutely mental.
That salary cap then, was it a salary?
I know.
Couple of
they done well, whatever they done anyway.
Couple of brown paper bags getting around for sure. Well, man, your debut, who was it against?
So I played a couple of pre-season games, but then I actually had my first game up in Newcastle in the LV Cup. So I think I was meant to be on the bench, but then Di Flan was there at the time. He pulled out, so I had my first start then against Newcastle in the LV Cup.
Wow.
So yeah, that was like, I think I was 18, so there was a couple of youngsters, like Webby was playing, Ashley Beck, Gareth Owen, Christian Phillips, so it was sort of a few of us together, but again, like they were all class players as well. Then we had a mixture then of a couple of older heads, like Duncan was still playing, Mervyn Davis, the hooker. So like it was a couple of old heads in the forwards, but it was all like so good. Sonny Parker,
wow.
So
I
like
loved him.
the balance between the older heads and the youngsters was spot on. So
hey, you've just said so many players right now that I'm thinking, wow.
And you think
stars
I know.
Individual stars. You got Gavin Henson, you got Ashley Beck, you got Sonny Parker. Like there's 3 internationals, 2 British Lions.
They kept them all happy, I'll never know. But
that's what I was gonna say. Maybe that was the issue then, that there was so many.
Like they had enough for 2 teams.
Superstars.
Like,
yeah. Wow. I'm just thinking of it all right now. That team.
It's mad.
You just being in that presence, man. That's only gonna uplift you at that stage.
Yeah, you sort of like. I think you don't take it for granted, but I just think if I look back now, I probably wish I tried to appreciate it more. But then you play one game, and then automatically, and you're looking to the next game. So you haven't really got time to reflect whatever's happening. You're in training, you're moving on to the next game.
Yeah.
And the next game was then actually down the Brewery Field against Leicester Tigers. So it was so good to play down Bridgend. Like I was 18, my home debut.
Yeah.
Like against Leicester in a full packed Brewery Field. It was just like awesome, to be fair.
Man, that's amazing.
I know.
That is amazing, especially the Brewery Field, such a hometown
exactly.
for us both. But what I was going to say, this is a bit off the topic. Well, similar, but just for more on the side of people to educate them on. So when you're a youngster and you're coming into a team, you're getting your couple of first team games, and you'll get dropped back to maybe the Premiership, Swansea or the Ravens at the time. How do you deal with that? Because there's some players right now that probably got, they get an itch and they want to just keep going. You're going to Leicester Tigers and then going back to Ebbw Vale maybe the next week.
Yeah, it happened to me. Like I think I was at Swansea at the time, so I was obviously playing like these teams where I go back to Swansea. But for me, it was like I just wanted to play week in, week out, and just try and play as much as I could. Especially being so young, I think all you want to do is play to try and get better and stuff like that. So I really looked forward to going back to Swansea. They had like a good setup down there, good coaches, good team. So it was like for me, and when I get called back for the Ospreys, then it was like, come on, let's try and take my chance again, sort of thing.
You played, if I got it right, 65 games for the Ospreys.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Did you then? Did you get called into the Welsh squad at that stage, or was it after?
I think I was 21. So I was leaving the Ospreys and I signed for Bristol.
That's right.
But they had a trial game in the Liberty Stadium.
Possibles.
Yeah, so it was sort of like I hadn't played rugby since like February or March.
Because of the...
I just wasn't really getting picked and I was leaving, so it was sort of like... I was just waiting to go to Bristol, really. I was looking forward to starting Bristol in the summer. And then I had a phone call to say, like, look, you're involved in this game. I was like, oh, happy days. So I was like, not been nervous, but it was like I literally haven't played for months sort of thing now. Yeah. So, just literally went from there, then went to training in the summer. And then I think we had 2 weeks training and then we played and that was it then again.
Because
I think that was a massive moment of my career. Like, I think...
Yeah.
Because I was playing outside half, trained outside half the whole time. I was on the bench, and then I come on a fullback.
That's right.
But I never played 15, so I was like, not chucked in the deep end, but I literally remember looking around, and I think at half time our team were having a bit of hammering, and literally Neil Jenkins just looked at me, he was like, "But you're on." It's like, fuck. Just about to go to warm up to do my own thing. He's like, "No, you're on now." I was like, "Oh fuck, come on then." So, but for me, that was probably better because I didn't have time to think
about it. Wow.
Scrum hat on. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then that second half, like I had a couple of runs and stuff, and then they named the squad then to go to South Africa straight after the game. So, I never thought I would have been picked, and then they read out my name, and then that was it. Then.
Wow. Do you think if you were starting that game, the nerves and everything of having such a time away would have maybe the outcome would have been different?
Yeah, probably, because I sort of when you don't have time to think about it, like I was one of them. If I didn't think about it, just played, it was like way better for myself personally.
Yeah,
I think the more time I think, you overthink it and whatever. So yeah, for me, it was like write you straight on and that's it. Just go do your thing.
It's quite interesting how Neil Jenks is you can't get on.
Yeah, he was like, I remember like I was going out to warm up. He was like, "No, but you're on." I was like, "Fucking hell, panic!" But now literally again, that was it. Like it was all looking back from here. Then
that was probably one of your best games as well.
Yeah, literally had like 40 minutes. It was down the Liberty, packed out. A couple of runs, like made a couple of line breaks and whatever, and then that was it, like sort of thing.
Do you find then, for instance? I know I'm going back a bit here, but you're very much an eyes up player.
Yeah, like
you what you see,
you're
gonna go. Like, so obviously when you get into the professional realm, it's very structured based. It's very play for play, this, that, and the other. How do you find that takes? Because everyone says, it takes a talent of a player. But how does that work with you?
It's sort of like depends who coaches you really. Like I think someone knows you're like an instinctive player. They won't. Not like everyone needs coaching, but they won't overcoach you. So they sort of just do bits and bobs throughout the week, but then in the game then it's just sort of just go do what you could do sort of thing. Like just don't overthink it and just play rugby. So it's just literally pick your head up and if it's on sort of thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Because otherwise, like I found probably when I went through like a bad run of form before, I'd be overthinking everything and probably try too hard then instead of just less is probably a bit more sometimes, and you've got to trust yourself more than anything than not overthinking it. Like
it's so true. That's so true, because I just always used to think about that when I watched you play. Obviously, as a youngster, as a kid, you just play eyes up for the college. You just run, kick, pass, or whatever was on, you do it. And I'd say maybe Warlow and Garnick back at Bridgend College would influence that
massively. Like if, like obviously Gar was on here the other week. The biggest thing with Gar was like he actually at the nail just putting his arm around me and sort of giving me the confidence. And he did shout at me once, and I went in the right strop. Like that was it then. But after that, we made friends again, and sort of like But with Gar, he was so good at managing me. Another good one was Richard Webster.
Oh yeah,
at Swansea. Yeah, like the same again. Put his arm around me, give me the confidence, and then that was it, sort of thing. I just wouldn't look back again. It was just sort of they sort of trusted me and give me confidence and belief, and then I could just go and do my thing.
I heard he's an hard bastard, though, Richard Webster.
Oh yeah,
wouldn't want to get.
It was quite funny because when we were training, if you ever put your hands in your pocket, bear in mind we're down St Helens, it's pissing down, so windy, freezing cold. If you ever got caught putting your hands in your pocket, he'd make you lie down at the end of the session. The whole team would run across your back.
Fucking
I swear down. So you don't.
No way.
Yeah, because he just wanted literally like to make everyone tougher and hard. Yeah, which like is funny now, but like I remember I done in one session, I forgot, and then like another, he was good. He literally lied next to me to protect me, so everyone was running across him, and I didn't have a scratch on my back end. But if it was someone else, he was just letting them have it, basically. Yeah, you've got these props like just running straight over the top of you.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he was good. He was like old school, but again, he was so good at like just
understanding players.
Yeah, it's just getting the best out of your players and stuff, really.
So true. So yeah, man, going back to that now, obviously Richard Webster, hell of a guy, and he's coached along for. I don't know if he's coaching anymore, but he was.
I don't think he does it anymore, but
No.
he was sort of. He done Swansea for years, and then he was in Wales in the 20s. He had me for a year there, so he went up to my stay again as well.
Yeah. I'm going a bit sporadic here, but now we've gone. You just said Wales in the 20s. You're the only team at that era in the Wales in the 20s World Cup, I believe it was, to beat the Baby Blacks.
Yeah, bearing in mind the year before we lost like 2-0.
Yeah.
But the team they had was like incredible. But yeah, the following year then, under Danny Wilson, we beat them 9-6.
Danny Wilson, is he coaching
Harlequins? Yeah, but he was our Wales under 20s coach. He's another very good coach as well. So, but yeah, we were the first team to beat them. So,
how many of those players now would you say are playing for in New Zealand or playing high level?
I think there's quite a few in that year, but the year before when they hammered us, it was like the whole 15 sort of went on to play for New Zealand. So it's sort of, if you look back now, you think, you can understand.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense sort of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, when I read that up and I seen you won 9-6, was it?
9-6, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You kicked the conversions?
I think I had one, and then Tom Pridey had two of them.
Tom Pridey.
Harbours, he was on fire that game.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was MOM. He was class.
Wow.
He was so good.
You two, obviously through the years from Bridgend to the college to the Ospreys, you guys had a very good combination. I think you were like chalk and cheese a bit though. You'd bark at each other. You're like a married couple, but then
it worked.
You worked.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was quite interesting how that dynamic, because he's very controlled, but you'd be very off the cuff. So it was like,
I think that's how it worked, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was like, and then obviously like I think Carl spoke about Harbours, like it'd be out warming up at 2:00 and Harbours literally be sitting there in his boxers getting changed, and like Carl's pulling his ear out looking at him, but I sort of like, and the boys knew, just let him be and he'll come and do his own thing his own time, sort of thing.
So he's very superstitious then.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, man, obviously those games for the Ospreys, I'm going to fast forward a bit now. Those games for the Ospreys, you know, playing against those players, the opportunities you had, and then from that then, what was the reasoning behind going to Bristol?
Throughout my like Ospreys career, I was always like, because Dan Bigger was there, so it was sort of, and he was, so I was 18, he was 21, so it was always like, he was young as well, so like I think I played a lot off the bench more than anything, which I didn't mind, but it got to the point where it was like, I need to probably start, if my career wants to kick on, I need to start playing and starting games. So Sean Hawley actually went to Bristol the year before I got there, so he got me in touch with Andy Robertson, who was the director of rugby at Bristol at the time. I met him, absolutely loved him.
Wow.
Thought he was barking mad, but he was old school, but he was so good. And then that was it. I signed for Bristol. I was 21. And absolutely loved it there.
You there one season or two?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Mate, you in those 2 years, one of those years, you obviously the team got promoted.
Yeah.
Right?
So oh my God, it was mad. The first year I was there, we lost to Worcester.
That's right.
Last kick of the game by a point.
That's right.
So we didn't. It was mental.
And then the next year,
the next year we went up, and then I moved to Cardiff. Then.
But you got play of the season as well in that.
Yeah. So the first year I sort of I played quite a lot. Like I was always that's why it was so nice for me. I was like 21. I needed the plays, but I'd be starting 10. It was in the championship, but we had like quite a good team compared to the other teams. So we sort of, we were confident, but we'd go into most games knowing we were going to win. It was just sort of on our terms. But like for me, being young 10. I just needed to play as much as I can.
Yeah.
And get as much confidence as I can. It was awesome. And
what changed there though? Because you just started to have this new lease of life there.
Yeah, I think I was just playing week in, week out more than anything. It was sort of going to be like starting or at least coming off a bench, but I was going to be there or thereabouts all the time. So, like the coaches there were awesome. It was obviously Andy Robson was like the boss. Sean Hawley was there. Danny Wilson, and then Matt Sheraton, jockey, which he's coached me for about 10 years. Like, he was there and he was so good for me when I sort of come there.
So they basically, you knew what you were getting yourself into, essentially. They knew what they were getting out of you. And you knew, And then, we had like such a good team as well, and the players we had were like incredible. Do you have any regrets now if whether coming back was the best thing?
So after my first year at Bristol, I actually got called up to the Welsh squad then, to the 2015 World Cup squad. So it was like 40, 50 players. So they kept cutting us down. I actually made the final squad. That's right. Which again, I was just like, I don't know. It's just one of them. You probably don't think about it, but like it was sort of, you go to these training camps. I knew I was quite fit already, so I sort of knew I'd stand a chance and all that. And I literally managed to make the 31-man squad, and then there was no looking back then. Wow. So I missed probably the second half of the season at Bristol. But then come Christmas time, I had it was such a tough decision whether, like, because Bristol want me to stay and I absolutely loved it there. But then if I wanted to play for Wales, I had sort of had to come back to play for Wales. So I was just like, oh my God, what do I do, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
It was so tough because and then like, because obviously I had a sniff of playing for Wales. I was like, oh my God, I want to sort of do that again. But then Bristol was so good to me on the other hand. I was like, my loyalty is sort of there, and like the fans and stuff was amazing playing in Ashton Gate. Like, it was such a good experience.
Good times, man. And they were, they're a force now. But that team coming through then, the winger, I believe, was it Lima?
David Lemmy.
Lemmy, that's right.
Fittest man I've ever seen.
Really?
Honest to God. So I was 21. God, he must have been about... He never told me his real age. Put it that way. But like, he must have been 35, 36.
That's wow.
And I'd always do my fitness next to him, and he'd beat me every time.
Wow.
And I'd like, at the end, I'd be lying on the floor, and he'd be just walking around smiling, and I'd be looking at him, just thinking, what the fuck is going on here? But like, he was so good for Bristol, and like, he's a Bristol legend basically. Yeah. So, but to have players like that as a youngster, and like, you look and you're thinking, if he could still, he's doing it now, he's beating me and everything. So it was like, I got up my game here.
Did you find yourself like, they say when you're in your 20s, your body looks after you, and then in your 30s or 40s, you have to look after your body. Yeah. Do you think you maintained and looked after your body, or the body was just very healthy?
I tried to as much as I could. Probably looking back early on, like, I probably didn't as much, but then as you get older, it does creep up on you a little bit, so you sort of have to look after your body a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, it's just interesting to find out. I'm always intrigued about like how people look after their bodies. Like, you know, you got the ice baths and all that now. Ice baths were important back then, but I don't think they're as big as they are now.
Cryos, I found the cryo good. Like, that was really good and stuff. Even just having like a massage and stuff like that, like, was awesome as well.
So then that happened, and those 2 amazing years there, like you said, it must have been definitely hard to leave Bristol, but then going to the Blues.
Yeah.
What was that journey like?
Roller coaster.
Yeah?
Yeah. But no, it was, like, I wouldn't change anything now, sort of, ever, just because of the way it's all panned out. But, like, yeah, it was amazing. Like, within the first 2 years of the Blues, we won the Challenge Cup. So, like, literally straight away, like, we were winning trophies, which was class. And then, like, we had a hell of a squad as well. So, like, but I think the key to, like, the squads back when I was growing up was, being a youngster, it was a lot of older heads with experience. Yeah. And they'd sort of look after younger boys in a good way and put you in your place. You had to sort of earn your respect, like, in a way. Yeah. With, like, Nick Williams and people like that. Put you in your place. You're not, like, messing about in front of them or whatever. So, but that was pretty good.
Do you think that's changed now?
Yeah, now, like, if you look at the Blue squad now, so young, there's not many senior players there, so it's sort of like, but they haven't got a choice.
Yeah.
But like as before, like going to the Ospreys, Bristol and Cardiff at the start, they had all these older players, and that's why I think what makes like a good squad and team morale and everything is having the balance between older heads and younger heads, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. So last season, when I was playing, I stopped playing for the 4 years, and I played last year. And we had a video session, and I was in the video, and I used to be that youngster who would just keep his mouth shut and just put my head down.
Yeah.
And then now, obviously, 30.
You're like, yeah.
I sat there, and I was like about to talk, and this little 19-year-old just starts speaking up and telling people what's going wrong, and I'm thinking, who the fuck gave him the mic?
I know.
Like,
I know.
That would never happen.
No, not back end. You'd be like, it was even the little things like going on the bus. You'd never walk to the back of the bus.
Never at the back of the bus.
Get on the front, know your fucking place, and that's the end of it.
In your stripes.
Well, that's what I found so good. Like, you sort of just keep your head down.
Yeah.
Just keep yourself to yourself. Do what you got to do, and that's it. Like, let the older boys do what they got to do.
Let them do.
Yeah.
But you'd get giddy, man, when they complimented you, if they even mentioned your name as a youngster. I'd get giddy about them.
Fucking hood up trying to hide. What have I done now?
Yeah. So it's good times, man. It's good times. And then, mate, you're talking about the Blues and stuff now. Like, when you went there, who was the coach at that stage?
So Danny
Wilson
and Matt Sherritt them were coaching, which, like, I trusted them both, and they were awesome, and the way they were with the boys and stuff, like, I think that's again how we were so successful, really.
I remember this one try you did against Saracens.
Yeah.
In those situations now, so if I got it right, they kicked the ball back to you.
Yeah.
Was it a high ball?
Yeah, high ball, sort of. I think I caught it out on my 22. But again, it was like, fuck, I remember doing an interview about that, and it was just like, what was you thinking? It was like, just catch the ball and run. Yeah. But that's all I know. Like, when I was playing rugby, I just wanted to run with the ball. So for me, I was just doing my thing. And then when you look back at it, you're like, oh, fuck, yeah.
Wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, basically. You're like, fuck, I can't remember seeing him there. But, like, for me as a instinct player, that's all I want to do is just run with the ball.
Because for some people, that would be the night. Like, when
Coach's
I think
nightmare.
about, someone's nightmare. But if I go, it's anyone I want to catch that ball in that situation, it's a few people that come to my mind, but you're definitely up there.
Yeah.
Because you spot a gap, you just go. And then
like, I can't even explain to you, like, how or what, where, why. It's just, like, I was born to do that, basically, sort of thing. And that was me when I was playing my best rugby and stuff. I just wouldn't think I'd get the ball and just go, sort of thing.
Is that why you was always good at Bobby knocking?
Couple of chases from the
running around backline.
Never get caught.
Oh, good times. Good times. There's a couple of questions I'm going to ask you, man. And well, before I ask you those questions, actually, more I think about it. There was a coach there, man, at the Blues. I honestly think, from my opinion, from seeing you at a young age, you're a year older than me, and being in such an awe of you, Math. Yeah. Because you're a short king like me.
Yeah, I know. We're not blessed with height.
Not blessed with height, but what I will say about you, man, you give people like me hope.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I was, the biggest or the most skillful, but I just wanted to be. I always wanted to try and think I could punch above my weight. Yeah. And that's one thing you always did.
Yeah, you have to.
There's no other option. You can't go.
Not.
Because the easiest thing to do for someone like me or you is, if you miss a tackle, the first thing they say, well, he's small. Yeah. He's too small to play. Did you ever feel the pressure?
I think I get nailed on the head. Like, when, I was like 12 stone soaking wet, so I knew I wasn't always going to make every tackle. It's just, if an 18 stone person running me, like, I'll try my best, but then I always flip it on the other foot. If I'm running at someone who's 18 stone, I'd back myself to beat them. So it sort of works both ways, doesn't it? So for me, it was just probably trying to just try your best and be a speed bump as much as you can.
Yeah. On top of that, now, when you were there with Dai Young, I've heard so many good things and bad things about Dai Young, and like you said, Marmite type of thing. You either love him or hate him. How did he impact your career?
Dai, he was good. Like, I think he was really good. It was just the awkward thing was probably like with COVID and stuff. So, like, it's hard to probably. It sounds silly, but hard to motivate the boys when you're playing in front of no one. Like little things like that you probably take for granted as a player running out in a full crowd, sort of thing. So it was tough, like times when Dad come in, it was literally full on COVID. So, but after that, I sort of did get a little bit better. Obviously, the people could come in and stuff again, but it was good. Like, and it was good. Like Harlem Amos was there as well when I was at Cardiff for 15. So he was like such a talented player as well, like unbelievable. So it was good competition.
That's good. Were you one of the players that when COVID hit got stuck in South Africa?
Yes.
What was that experience like? Was it couple of weeks there?
Fucking absolutely horrific.
Really?
My worst nightmare, that is.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened? Like what was the protocol? How did it go down?
Yeah, it was fucking bonkers. It was like basically we were out there being normal, and then we went to play like on a Sunday. We woke up on a Friday. It was like a red alert in South Africa, a new strain of COVID. And then we didn't really probably think it was that serious, so we went to train. By the time we come back to the hotel, it was like our team manager was like, right, boys, you got to stay in your room now. And we were like, fucking, you joking sort of thing. Like that's, I think, well, for me anyway, personally, just being stuck in one room is literally my worst nightmare. I was like, I can't. I was like, I literally cannot do this. But we got stuck out there for like 10 days.
Wow.
Then we finally flew back to Gatwick. Then we had to do another 10 days in a hotel.
Wow. In Gatwick?
Yeah, in like a hotel.
Oh, wow.
And you couldn't leave a room. Or you could leave a room for like 10 minutes. And that was it.
So you're literally just in a hotel room for that whole...
Yeah. That's when, oh my God, like I was in South Africa and I was like tweeting. I lost a part. Like I was literally what was going. Like I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because normally I'm up and out early.
Up and out. Yeah.
Out all day. We're running about and doing a come home and like later on. But like you wake up in the room and you're like, fuck, what am I doing now? You're training and you're like, what's next sort of thing.
So you're just training in your room.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm luckily. I never experienced any of that. I think we had a couple of days in Australia of it, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I remember there was that scenario happened. I just was curious, and yeah, man, you seemed like you got the brunt of it.
Oh yeah, we did. It was sort of, I think the Cardiff Blues were out there, Munster and Zebra. We were all like locked in the same hotel, and the Scarlets, but they were in a different hotel. And we were sort of like literally going to the airport to fly home, and then someone come running out the airport, but like, oh no, you're not coming. Because two boys would have COVID. Yeah. Because we were all a part of it. They were like, no, you're not coming in here, basically. So back to your hotel you go. So you get your hopes up, thinking like, oh, happy days are going home. Then next thing you know, you're back in the hotel again.
So you're getting your hope up and then you just get, you're losing your marbles a bit there.
Yeah.
Man, I want to say as well, you mentioned your partner, Jess. So obviously, Jess was one of the nurses with my dad.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful for that woman. She is an absolute diamond of a person. Very, very funny.
She is a diamond.
Yeah, she's I was very grateful for her to be looking after my dad. So I hope she listens to this and
she'll be listening. I've been warned what to say and whatnot. But like again, it's probably like everyone, but every like rugby player go for ups or downs in careers, injuries, but like it's nice to go home to know you got someone there to support you. Yeah. Which has been like awesome sort of thing. No, you could go home and you could just vent to her more than anything. So
I remember her saying one thing. She goes, so I was in there and she's like, what she said? I'm from Merthyr. Is she from Merthyr? She goes, yeah, Merthyr. And then I moved to Bridgend and everyone thought I was posh. You're not posh.
She sticks out like a sore thumb. That's it. Nah. It's just a different world up in Merthyr and the valleys, isn't it, compared to Bridgend. So
how's it being a father?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tiring? No, it is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. You sort of like, again, probably don't have time to think about anything else when both kids are screaming at you. But it's good. It's awesome.
Good stuff. I bet it helps the transition from retiring now and just like...
Yeah, it's like kids. Literally... like I was on crutches for 6 weeks, but like it was the summer holidays as well, so both kids were off. So sort of like... don't have time to like literally think about anything else than just trying to look after the two kids. But then Jess will always say I'm like the third kid in the house because I'll wind the kids up and then she shouted at me, so it's a knock-on effect.
Oh mate, well the other thing I was going to say is obviously that injury, I knew a little bit about your partner mentioned to me, and you've mentioned a little bit to me. So, is it like a semi-knee replacement?
Yeah, it's basically like a knee replacement. Like, one down from knee replacement. Yeah.
So, do you remember this in particular? Like, was it a step in the game?
It wasn't like one incident. It was sort of just over time, really. Yeah, and like sort of my knee was just buggered.
When did you start getting the issues with the knee?
I don't really know. We've sort of like just come out the blue last season, and then I went to see the surgeon, and he was sort of like, we didn't expect it at all. Like, he was sort of, yeah, you need this operation basically, and then but you can't play again after it. So I was like, oh shit, like it's quite serious. Yeah.
How'd you deal with that?
That was tough because I was with the physio in the room, and like the physio looked at me. He was like, oh shit, we didn't expect that. And then I was like, fuck, I didn't expect that either. But like with the surgeons, it's like black and white for them, innit? Yeah. It's like they're just straight to the point, and that was it.
Motions out of the system.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, you need this operation to fix your knee up. Yeah, that was pretty tough. I remember like coming out of the meeting with the surgeon, and I was like fucking trying to catch my breath sort of thing. So it was like, fuck, I can't play again now. And yeah, so it sort of took me a little while to digest that. Yeah, I remember like I got home, I just started crying straight away. I was like, fuck, that is it, sort of thing. But I think the hardest bit was trying to tell other people then, like my friends and close friends and family. It was like, yeah, I can't play again. And they was like, what? Like, you what?
Such a shock.
Yeah, sort of thing. Like going home, tell Jess, tell my parents, like, and obviously like my friends and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty. It was a bit of a shock.
Was it a moment of like, what's next? What do I do now?
Yeah, because you sort of you didn't plan for it. Like, sort of, I sort of knew I had another year and stuff like on my contract, and then it's like, what's next, sort of thing. But then once everything settles down, it all works out in the end. So,
did you, how do I say then with that? I found finishing rugby not on my terms. I found it like a breakup.
Yeah,
I felt like I couldn't go to the rugby game I couldn't watch a match.
Yeah,
because you see, especially if it's a tight game, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I sort of, like, it was funny because I went down the Arms Park a couple of times this season, and being in the stand, like, watching, it was like and seeing the boys and stuff, you're like, fuck, it's quite weird, like, you do miss it then, so. And
now you've gone straight into coaching.
Yeah, because, again, like, I've done rugby since like 7 or 8, so sort of literally love rugby so much. I was like, what can I do next? And then an opportunity popped up as well down Cardiff Vale College, and up in Porth, a team up in the valley. So that popped up. I was like, well, I'd love to just keep in rugby and stay involved in rugby and try and give back a little bit. So yeah, it worked out.
I think that'll be interesting for you. I don't know how you're doing in it. I'm assuming you're doing well, but for someone who is such a naturally gifted player, a naturally gifted player, you don't have to think.
Yeah.
People like me, you have to think every part down. So for you this is probably really making you strengthen your skills, because you've really got to break it down to someone who's maybe...
Yeah, you have to be fair. And like the biggest thing is probably trying to make sure the boys are comfortable going into a game more than anything. So they're relaxed, and then they could just sort of... You could do so much with them, but it's over to them then. But as long as they can feel confident and comfortable, then they could just sort of try and do the best they can.
That's good. That's really good to hear, man. And I'm glad you've transitioned out of rugby in a good manner, and it's good you got a good family around you as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
you see yourself, this is a venture you like to see yourself go further with?
Yeah, I sort of just wanted to get my teeth stuck into it, basically, and then go from there, just take it as it comes. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Probably took a couple of months to get used to it, sort of being on the other side.
Yeah.
Than rather running about and stuff, but actually trying to help and give instructions. But yeah, so just getting used to it and then see where it takes me.
Good man. Well, mate, I'm actually looking forward for you to come to the run club with Pepper.
Yeah. I know he's been nagging me.
He's been hounding you to come. And I've seen you a couple of times. Obviously, you're still doing your weights. I don't think those arms can get any bigger. He's got a baggy shirt on right now, but he can't get any bigger.
You've got to keep training. I think it's just part of like my routine. I think you train so long and so much, like, for the last how many years, like, to stop training is weird. So I had like 6 weeks off when I was on my crutches, and after that I was like, no, I need to get back in the gym doing something. I got to burn my energy off.
So, man, a couple of questions I want to ask you now as we wrap it up is just one in particular, though, is, mate, throughout all your career, which is an exceptional one, the players you come across, who is the ones in particular like that impacted you the most?
Obviously, like, the Ospreys team was incredible, but then when I went to Bristol, I had Dwayne Peel inside me at scrum half, like, and he was awesome. Like, he was an amazing player. And then I had Gavin Henson at 12 then outside me, so I was like stuck in between two, like, Lions legends. So I was just stuck in between these two, and then to learn like a lot off both of them was like incredible. Was
Gav very eyes up as well?
Yeah, he was. So that was just he was just so, like, probably the most talented player I've ever seen. Yeah. Just effortless in everything he did, even in training and stuff. Like, he just wouldn't. It looks like he doesn't try, but he obviously is. But he was so gifted. And then when he was obviously playing, then he was just such a cool character. Like, he was unbelievable.
It's funny, right? For the spectators out there, they're probably listening. They watch players and they go, oh, they must be calling and communicating so much. Yeah. But sometimes, like you said, less is more. He might just say, do you give it to me early?
With him, the best way to describe him, he always looks like he's got time on the ball. And, like, he literally did. It looked like no one could get anyone near him, like, because he was just made it look so easy. And when he was on it, like, he was just so good. And, like, it was just, like, being 21, you had Dwayne Peel at 9 and then Henson at 12. Like, you were just like, wow.
That's impressive, that is. And even Dwayne Peel, what a player he was.
Yeah, he was class. He was so good.
He's at the Scarlets now, coaching, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then the coach that impacted your career the most?
There's probably a few of them, to be fair.
Top 3. It's good.
Garnick was obviously up there. We've obviously named Alan Harris, like, he was awesome in school. Richard Webster, he was so good. Like, when I look back, like, the younger age, like, Garnick and Webster were so good. And then probably Matt Sheraton, like, because I literally had him since I was 21 to 31, so he knew me inside out and knew how to get the best out of me. So, like, yeah, like, that was pretty good.
Good man. And finally, man, I always ask my guests, what are you grateful for?
Probably just playing rugby for as long as I did, sort of thing, all the way from 7 to like 31. And then obviously playing professionally from when I was like 18 to 31 is probably when I was, because I come through like quite early, I sort of forget like about the younger times sort of thing. But yeah, just playing rugby for that massive, most of my life basically. So like that was pretty special.
Nice, man. Well, I'm grateful for you coming on today. I'm grateful, man, for impacting so many people's lives without even using your mouth, just playing.
Yeah.
People just looked up to that and wanted to do that. And just, you know, putting Bridgend on the map. We're such an untapped, well, I'd say not an untapped area. We're an area that has so much potential and talent.
Yeah.
And you were one of them. I remember watching one game, you playing for the Arth. It might have been one of your first team games for the Arth.
Yeah.
And Town Selly playing against you, and you skinned him.
For Tom Moe.
And you skinned him. And he was an exceptional player at that stage.
He was awesome.
And I'm thinking, wow, like, you give people like me and other people hope.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm grateful for you, for your natural talent.
Thank you very much, Al.
And, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me on, yeah. It's been a pleasure.
Legend, dude.
Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk it only. Don't just talk it, walk it. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk it only. Don't just talk it, walk it. Walk it only.